What does he do? Goes and finds a seat, and the first thing he eats is my chocolate croissant. Hello my loves, and thank you for joining me. It's Kirsten and we are at the start of another vlog, this time just a weekend one, but we're spending it in Rome and I'm so excited. We're not in Rome yet, we're actually just in the Premier Inn because our flight is not really early, but it makes it easier just to have an overnight stay at a hotel beforehand. Anyway, that's not the point, you don't need to know that. We're going to Rome today, but I remember to actually start this vlog before we go so that you can have a look around duty free with me, because I love having a look around there, and we are on the mission for more lipstick, so that's what we're going to do. And the book of choice for this weekend, we have A Court of Wings and Ruin by Sarah J. Maas. This is the third book in the first trilogy, and then I've mentioned it before, but there is like a 3.5 and then it follows a different character after that in the fourth book. And you know what? This book is not the best. It's really not. As the title suggests from the war part, this book is about a war. And we are building it all up, and Feyre has infiltrated somewhere and she's trying to gather intelligence. It's interesting to see this side of Feyre, especially how much she's grown across the first 3 books. I mentioned it last week, but I'll mention again. These books, the first one is almost like a Beauty and the Beast retelling. We have Feyre, who has human. She has to hunt to save her family from starvation, although it's only just. And so they are always hungry, always struggling, until Feyre accidentally, or not so accidentally, kills a fey creature and she gets taken beyond the wall. The result in fact that her family is cared for, but Feyre has to deal with a lot of difficult things, from fey to different nefarious creatures. There's a series of trials. The second book, which is the one I read last week, because I don't ever bother reading the first book, I've read it enough that I know it. I don't enjoy rereading it. But the second book is more focused on Feyre and her PTSD from that, dealing with everything that she actually went through and how she then develops and comes into herself because of that. And then you have this book where she's gone through all of that, she's stronger because of it, and now we have a war to deal with. So that's where we're up to and I'm enjoying it. But for now, let's get some food and let's go lipstick shopping. I'm hoping it's good here. Last time was at Heathrow, and Heathrow's duty free is really good. But this is Gatwick, and from what I remember last time, both me and my partner, actually just my partner, was saying that it's not the best. So I guess we're gonna have a look. I hope you're all doing well. Let me know below what you've been up to, if you've ever been to Rome before. Actually, I've never been. I just wanted to go to see the Colosseum, so definitely doing that on one of the days. I will catch you probably tomorrow, because I'm way too tired to update. Maybe I'll update when we see the room. I don't know. I haven't decided. Anyway, goodbye. Good morning. I have slept terribly. This hotel room is something else. Breakfast was awful. My partner went up to, because you can't serve yourself, you have to ask somebody to serve you. He was like, oh, okay, we'll get a croissant. And he was just gonna get plain croissant. And I was like, no, get a chocolate one as well. You know, for me, what does he do? Goes and finds a seat, and the first thing he eats is my chocolate croissant. My chocolate croissant. He didn't even want the chocolate croissant. I haven't slept very well and I'm hungry, and that was just... Anyway, we're staying in a church. I mean, I didn't even know the hotel we were staying at because my partner booked it all. I just said, I want to be near the Colosseum because that's what I want to do in Rome. Apparently he chose a church and neither of us are religious. And honestly, It's so creepy looking, it looks hella haunted. It is a reformed church, like an archaeological site, and I think if you're interested in that sort of thing, this is pretty awesome. But I'm going to show you the room. It's so bland and bare, they could have done so much with it. While the outside of it looks absolutely beautiful, I did take a video at night, so you would have seen that, and that's how outside, like, it looks stunning. Just when you go down the hallway where our room is, it just gives you haunted vibes. And it's a little bit unsettling. But you know, we're here in Rome, and we're gonna make the most of it. And I will show you the room in just a moment, because on the plane I did read a good chunk of A Court of Wings and Ruin. So I'm now up to chapter 18, page 184, and Feyre has just done her spy infiltration stuff, so that's just finished. She's now back, and there has been loads of stuff that's basically she messed up because of it. And also part of you goes, well done, because a lot of this was like a personal revenge rather than an actual helpful revenge in a big part. Like, it helps a bit, but in all honesty they could have done other things to actually benefit this war that's coming, but instead she went for the personal revenge plan. And you know what, I can't fault her for it because it's something I would do, but rereading this for like the upteenth time, you really do see that those were some bad choices there. But I am enjoying this, it's good fun. I said in my last vlog and stuff, when it comes to Sarah J Maas, if you're wanting me to be really critical about this book, I will hand on heart say that this is not a good book. The writing isn't great, the plotting, pacing, things like that, like, they're not the best. However, I do have rose tinted glasses when it comes to this series. Like, I love Sarah J Maas, I love her characters. I mean, I've been reading these books since they were first being published, so it's been a very long time, and I've just fallen in love with them. And as much as I've said many a time, Feyre and Rysand are the two main characters in this, are not my favourite characters at all, I still really enjoy the books because Sarah J Maas really gets me to care about the characters and about what's happening to them, and I just want to learn more and more about them. And so that is why I can always do it. But I said it last week, I'm going to say it again, if you're looking for a fantasy book, I wouldn't recommend these. But if you're looking for a fantasy romance, this is pretty good, because Sarah J Maas does do her romance really well, and the smut scenes and everything, pretty good. Very repetitive in some of the words that she uses and stuff. That's what I'm noticing this time around. I think because I can be more critical, so I've got one side of me that's being critical about this book, and then the other side of me that's still like, oh, but I love it. And the love it part always wins, because, you know, reading is supposed to be enjoyable, hence the reread anyway. And you can't always be critical of every single book, but it's still good. Plus, this really goes with my lipstick today, which, oh god, the camera doesn't show up very well, but it's actually quite a nice hot pink lipstick because Barbie jacket and everything, but that's not the point. Although that does segue quite well into my duty-free shopping. So we had a good little rummage around duty-free actually. My shopping consisted of lipstick, which was exactly what I went there for anyway. So let's do a quick lipstick haul. I got 6. To be fair, I bought 4, then they gave me a 20% off voucher, and you could only use it that day and only in that duty-free. So I was like, well, we had another look around duty-free and couldn't find anything, so picked up some more. So I only got Bobbi Brown. So if you're watching the Thailand vlog, you'd know that Bobbi Brown is my new favourite lipstick. I absolutely love it. It's really light, it lasts for ages. The one I'm wearing now is actually MAC, and this one is Flat Out Fabulous. This is actually a pink, bright pink colour, and it's lovely. I love it, because that's one thing that I will use MAC for, is those standout colours, the colours that you can't really get in Bobbi Brown, because Bobbi Brown is very simple in their range of colours. They have light peachy tones, which I already had, and then they've got mid pinks, reds and some browns, and that's it. That's all they do. That's their range. But MAC does different ranges of colours, and so I'll go to them for those sort of colours if I want something a bit different. But it doesn't last long. You're constantly having to reapply it, which I find really frustrating. So I picked up my spectrum of Bobbi Brown. This one is raspberry, or raspberry. It's got Z's in it. Love the casing. Beautiful gold casing. Anyway, I know there's a tip missing. That was Damien. I was heartbroken, very upset about it, because I hadn't even worn it. I was just showing him, and he decided that was enough show and tell, and went to close it and just took off the tip of the lip. He's not in my good books at the minute, in case you haven't noticed. He's broken my lipstick and he stole my food, so... But anyway, Raspberry is like this darker, almost purpley pink, which is nice. And all of these are matte lipsticks, I prefer matte. And then we have Tawny Pink, which is basically just a lighter version of the Raspberry. I did get quite a few that are similar, but because it's duty-free, I don't pay the tax, so it just made sense to pick up all the ones I wanted. And this one's actually more of like a browny mid-tone pink. So instead of the purple that Raspberry has, this one's a bit more brown, which is the closest I will get to wearing a brown, but I think this is going to be like a nice neutral tone. I love wearing lipstick, so for days when I want to wear lipstick but I don't want to wear a really bold colour, that's where these colours will come in. And this one is Fever Pitch, so now we get into some of the oranges that some of the reds that I got. And this one is quite an orangey red, which is why I was saying orange. But I like this one. It is definitely more orangey red rather than a red. I'm so sorry for anyone that's not interested in lipstick, but you can just skip. Okay, so this one's a Burnt Cherry, which is the darker red that I went for. I don't know if you can hear that, but there are children running outside. Like, you can hear everything in these rooms. Like, I heard someone coughing last night because my partner was coughing, but I mean someone else coughing. You can hear them flush their toilet, you can... having issues. Moving on, back to lipstick. This one is the darker red, which I'm really happy with this because I did originally get this sort of a colour in MAC. It's a bit more brighter, the MAC one. I do like a dark red occasionally, or just like even a dark purple. That's something I really want to get, but again, I have that with Lush. I haven't found it, won't be with Bobbi Brown. I haven't found it with MAC yet, but sometimes you just need a darker colour. Moving on, back to the pinks. We have Boss Pink, and this one's more of like a simple mid-tone nude pink. Quite a nice simple one. Again, these mid-tone ones are just going to be for those days when I'm not wanting to make much of an impact with my lipstick. And then the last one is in their fancy packaging, which I don't actually like this packaging because I prefer the matte gold to it rather than this shiny one, but that's me being fussy. And then this is the Fire Engine Red. It's beautiful. This is actually Parisian red, and that's really nice. This one is the most like satiny colour, but it's still more matte than anything else, and that's what I prefer. Although my partner made a good point that I should try out some of their other ones because this is their Luxe colours. And they also do a crushed colour, and he said you should try some of those. Those were my purchases at Duty Free. I really love them. And now we're gonna have to go find me some breakfast because my boyfriend ate mine. There's few things that will upset me on the planet, and one of them is food, because I love food. So if I'm given bad food or someone eats my food, we're gonna have a problem. That's what we're starting the day with. Anyway, let's do a room tour. Okay, so I should have done this from the room door, but never mind. We have the bed, which is 2 single beds put together with just 1 sheet over it to make it look like a king-size bed. They're not fooling anybody. Look, right, so the ceilings are massive. And look at all this plain wall, what they could have done with this room, honestly. And then this side is all the wardrobe space. That's our front door. And then in here is the bathroom, which I'll just show you this because it's definitely got a vintage pink vibe, and I don't mind it, but also it's not the best. This corner, so that bed is where I was filming, which, fair enough, we have an extra bed. And then we've got just this little desk area bit, which is fine, but there's no kettle. The fridge is in here, which isn't that cold. And we have 1 plug that we can use. That's fun. Although the best part is honestly this window. So you have a nice little area here where you can actually stand and have a look. You get shutters so you can properly block out the light if you want to. But then the view is pretty awesome. But yeah, so that's our room. And you know what? It could be worse. But as I was saying, I think this place is definitely amazing if you like the architecture. Anyway, we need to start our day. I'm not sure what we're doing. I think we're going Colosseum today. I guess we'll find out. But definitely first, we need to get some food because I'm rather hungry. Well, we did end up having a little look at the Colosseum yesterday. We didn't go inside the Colosseum. The tickets, I didn't realise you have to book online for that, and they were booked up for the next couple of days. You could do a guided tour if you wanted to. I think they were saying it was like 40 euros. I don't know whether that was each or whether that was for both of us. No idea, but we decided not to do that in the end. I have to admit, the Colosseum, considering it was the one thing I wanted to come here for, was a bit anticlimactic in a way, but it was nice to have a little look around at the outside. There's loads of like ruins here and stuff, which were really interesting. And my partner, we were walking past this really fancy white building, and he was like, let's just go up the stairs because people were. And I was like, I don't know if they're going to charge us for that. They didn't, and the views were amazing, and it was honestly probably the best part of the day yesterday was this random building that I've got no idea what it was. It was just this random building that we found, and it was awesome though because they had like statues everywhere, and the higher up you went, obviously the views got more and more amazing. And then you could pay to go in this elevator, glass elevator by the way, absolutely terrifying. I hate heights, but you could go all the way up to the actual roof, and the view was just amazing, and it was above like the Colosseum part, so you could actually get some really good views of the Colosseum from where we were, and just a general overview of Rome. It looked really good, so that was probably the best part. We probably killed about an hour up there. We also stopped for lunch in the cafe there, so that was really nice. Then we decided to go for a wander to the Pantheon. Basically, where we're based actually is quite nice because everything's within walking distance. We ended up going to the Pantheon. That, again, you had to pay to get into and everything, and it was really busy, but the outside of it looks amazing. And in this little courtyard where there was loads of like restaurants and stuff, which we didn't really stop at. And then we just kind of had a little wander around the little like roads that they have there. They're like cobblestone roads everywhere, and you've got like the occasional little shop and stuff, mainly just like suit shops, a couple of stationery shops. There was 3 of the same stationery shop, which I really liked, and I was really tempted to get something from there, but it was quite pricey, so in the end I decided not to. And yeah, that was about it really. We just did loads of walking and then came back and just relaxed here for a little bit. I got some reading done. So I'm now on chapter 29, page 299. So I did get through a little bit, which I'm quite pleased with. I'm hoping the plan is to finish this on the flight home. So I've got today and then tomorrow on the flight home, which I think I should be able to do that in the next 2 days. We'll see. Again, this is just building up more of the threat of the war, and they're trying to make alliances with things, and that's kind of the focus on this one. This one isn't my favourite book. I think I mentioned that already. It's not my favourite book in the series, especially because Sarah J. Maas does try to focus more on the war aspect rather than like the relationship part, and the relationship part is where she shines. And so this part of like the war building and stuff, like you do get to see it, you do, but you also, it's not as good. I still like it because it's Sarah J. Maas, but it's not as good, and a lot of people do have some varying opinions on this book. I enjoy it for the characters, I enjoy learning more about them, I enjoy just the interaction, the time spent with them, but this isn't her strongest book. I would definitely say out of the Court of Thorns and Roses series, if you were just looking at the first trilogy, it would be A Court of Mist and Fury. Out of all of them that are out so far, which is technically 5, but one of them is a novella, I would say the most recent one, A Court of Silver Flames, is the best one, and that's my favourite. Really love that book. But yeah, this one is okay. I'm really pleased that I am continuing on because I wasn't quite ready to say goodbye to the characters yet at the end of Court of Mist and Fury, and I'm pleased that I brought this on holiday because it's a nice, light, easy read, especially when I'm tired, because honestly I haven't been sleeping great here because it's so noisy. The rooms are so tall, it's so echoey that you can just hear everyone and everything, and I'm constantly getting woken up because of it, and it's just a bit frustrating. So it's nice to have a book that I don't need to concentrate loads on, that I can just relax to. So that's good. Today I'm not too sure what we're doing. We was trying to find like maybe a shopping centre or something to go to, but yeah, there's nothing close by. If you want a shopping centre in Rome, you've got to travel over an hour to get outside of Rome. It's like right on the outskirts. So I don't really know. We found a street which had a few shops in it yesterday. There was like, I spied a little bit of a green part when we were walking up towards the Colosseum, so we might explore that, or I don't know. Anyway, right, I'm gonna go. Good morning. We're at our last morning here, and I was thinking about it yesterday because I had basically grumbled about being here in Rome. The main complaint about everything is actually just the food. Both myself and my partner are big foodies. The food here has actually been really limited, like don't get me wrong. There are so many pasta and pizza restaurants available, like so many. And we have tried a couple, but I haven't been blown away by them, which I was really disappointed by. And that's been the biggest just like gripe. Like if you want something other than pizza and pasta, it's actually really hard to find, or at least that's what we've been finding. And you know what, as much as I do love myself a pizza and I do enjoy pasta, I don't want it every single day. And I also want it to be, you know, good. And maybe we've just been really unlucky with our choices or something, but that's definitely coloured my feeling towards Rome. We did find a kind of like a ramen place yesterday, which we were really excited about, but again, it didn't really hold up. I mean, it can't really blame the place because there was a bit miscommunication and what we ordered wasn't exactly what we had wanted, but also the soup and everything that was with it just had this really weird taste to it and stuff, and basically we've just been struggling for food. I'm one of those people that if I'm hungry or if I'm not having good food, it does put me in a bad mood, and combine that with the fact that I slept terribly for the last couple of nights here because it's been so loud. So it's been a bit of a struggle to sleep and then a struggle for food, and they're two things that just automatically put me in a bad mood. But there has been some nice things, like went up to that place that I still don't know what it's called, and the views and stuff were amazing, as I've said. Like it's been nice exploring. It's just missed the mark on a couple of things for me, but again, that's my own expectations. So sorry if this kind of came across as really like down and people love Rome. It's just not particularly for me, and I think coming here so soon after Thailand, which is a place that we absolutely love and there's everything that we want there and the food's amazing and stuff, it's hard not to do a comparison. But I've still really enjoyed the break. I've still really enjoyed just having time for myself and my partner and just having time away and time to read, because I'm now up to chapter 42, page 396. This sound has been driving me mad. For some reason in our room, we seem to hear whenever someone's like used the bathroom or had a shower or anything, and the water goes through this room. Oh, it's been a time. Anyway, back to the book. Yeah, it's been good. We've had a mini little skirmish, like a taster of what's going to come, all with the war and everything. We're having different players and stuff all kind of coming together. They've got to kind of get over their political differences to actually come together for the bigger war that's happening, and everything that's going on with Feyre's sisters. Nesta having to try and explore her powers and stuff, and then obviously dealing with the fact that honestly, most people don't really like her and are really quite rude to her, and that gets explored more in Nesta's own book, which is of course Silver Flames. But I do think, as much as yes, Nesta can be cold and hard towards people, also she's been through a lot, so that's kind of allowed. And anyway, that's a tangent. I've spoken about that with of course Silver Flames anyway. But yeah, so we've just been more exploring of that really. I don't want to give too much away in case anyone does want to read this or doesn't know what happens in here, which again, I'll be surprised at. This has been around for a long time. Actually, when was this first published? 2017. So it's been around for a while. The books, like Sarah J Maas's books, have been around for a lot longer than that, and there is a massive fan base for Sarah J Maas. So there has been so many spoilers and things that have been said. And I suppose you'd have to be in the right places to see that, but yeah, there's a lot. And the reason why I'm enjoying rereading these even more is because of Sarah J Maas's adult series, which is Crescent City, and just picking up some of the things which relate into that series as well has been really interesting. But as I've kept mentioning, this is not my favourite book. I haven't really taken the time to annotate anything in this one, whereas Court of Silver Flames on the other hand, like, it's annotated to death. But this one, I like it. It's a nice wrap up to Feyre's story, but that's kind of all it is. But I've mentioned that a lot. But something that happened yesterday, which I was so excited about, is we found a bookshop. We did also go to a park, but it wasn't like a big park where you could just like all relax in and loads of greenery space. It was more just like a walkthrough. It had a really nice view of the Colosseum actually, and again some ruins and stuff within the park. Didn't really do loads yesterday, just a lot of wandering around and then heading back here to relax and stuff, which was nice. But in the evening, we found a bookshop, and we actually found it a few minutes before they were closing, so I didn't get to have a good rummage around, but I did spy their classics selection, and they've got a nice little selection. They've got lots of different books, lots of different alternate artworks and stuff on the covers, which I really appreciated. They are a bit more expensive, I have to admit. 11 euros for a classic book is quite a lot. But then I had a quick spy around their rest of the books, and I found this, and this is Galatea, or Galatea, or one of you mentioned in the comments below how to pronounce this, and I still get it wrong, I'm sorry. But it's by Madeline Miller, and this was her little short story that she brought out. And in the UK, you get this tiny little book with like just writing and stuff, like there's not much in it at all. Now I saw this, and I loved the cover, but what's even more beautiful, we have these end papers, which are stunning, love it. But then every single page of this book is illustrated, and it is stunning, absolutely stunning. I fell in love with this. I loved it, adored it, to the point where my partner was just like, he's gonna get it for me. Because I adored it, and I was going to put it back because he said like we'll come back tomorrow and have a look around. He was like, no, there's only one left. He was like, we're gonna do it, because if we don't, I'm not gonna hear the end of it, which is very true. It is very true. He has to put up with a lot. But yeah, I mean, just all of it is beautiful, and as much as the story is in Italian, the pictures of it go so well. And it was only a short story, so I know what happens in it and stuff, and the imagery that the illustrators is just fantastic. It's so good, and I fell in love. This was 15 euros, and in all honesty, I think it's worth it just for the artwork in this. It's stunning. It's going to be so easy to read the UK version because it's so tiny alongside this, and having all of the beautiful illustrations and stuff. So I wasn't planning on getting a book, to be honest. We've seen a couple of bookshops, but haven't really gone into them, and yesterday they were closed because it was a Sunday. But this one is massive. It's got a downstairs as well, which you didn't get to explore or anything, and I'm really intrigued by it. I didn't think I was going to pick up a book because all their books are Italian, none of them are English. But yeah, I couldn't walk away from this. And then they had a really beautiful edition, illustrated edition of Notre Dame. That was fantastic. It's so beautiful, and I was so tempted, but it's quite heavy and it's big, and I don't have any space, and you know, this one's beautiful. So yeah, that was quite surprising. So we're gonna go explore there. Our flight's not till 8 in the evening, so we've basically got another full day here, and we're just gonna see what we can find. Oh, we did find a couple of different pastry shops. That's one thing I can say. The sweet treats here have been amazing. Like, I've had the best ice cream ever. It tasted like a Kinder Bueno. I absolutely loved it. We've had really nice little pastries, and they were delicious and really cheap. Like, we got 5 of them for 5 euros, and they're all like little ones and stuff, but I think that's a really good pricing. We tried their macarons. We always try that. Wherever we go, we always try those. And they were okay. I definitely preferred the ice cream. The sweet treats and stuff have been so good. It's just been dinners that I'm struggling with. But let's not go back onto a food run. Okay, we need to go check it out. Check out is at 10, so we need to go do that, get some breakfast, and then explore a little bit more. I'm clearly back home, and you know what? As much as I did a bit of complaining across the holiday, both me and my partner were talking about it and we both agreed Rome is an amazing place to go if you're really invested in the history, the architecture, and honestly the ruins and stuff are beautiful, and I really appreciated those parts of it. It was just the food side of things that really brought it down, and we're just big foodies. So unfortunately that didn't work, and then obviously our hotel, with it just being so loud, but we both agreed, again, if you're really invested, like where we were staying was an actual tourist attraction, like it was an actual monastery like connected onto the hotel, or hotel was connected onto the monastery, and the part that we were staying in was like proper like on top of like the ruins and stuff. Like it was fantastic for that. So I think if you're going for that, brilliant. Unfortunately for us it just didn't quite work, but I'm really pleased I went. I'm really pleased we had that time away together, and it was a good time, although I did get back to a plant casualty, hence why there's no plant there. I think my cat had a little bit of fun when I was away, and I came back and it was all a bit of a mess. The wardrobe is all clawed up as well, so apparently a situation happened. But on the last day we did have the majority of the day because our flight wasn't until 5 to 9 in the evening, so it was very late. But we ended up just having a little wander around, more of like seeing what shops there were and stuff, and there wasn't loads. We chilled at the train station actually, because they have a bit of a shopping centre that's connected with the train station, before heading into the airport. And we went quite early because we wanted to have a little look around duty free and also just to relax there. Not much, because we had to check out by 10 AM, so we were having to kill quite a lot of time between then and our flight. So we did sit down in a park for a little bit, and then, as I said, just have a little wander around, seeing what caught our fancy. But it did mean that I finished A Court of Wings and a Ruin, which I'm very pleased with. I have to admit, like, everything that happens in this book, there's so much that could be changed, that could be better, and I've already said it loads. We know I enjoy this book regardless, and yeah, I'm really pleased I've read it, but I am feeling like, okay, we've scratched that Sarah J Maas itch now, so I'm very happy just to put this down now and continue on with the rest of my November TBR, which I will be doing today. So yeah, I think overall it's been a really good time. I really enjoyed it. Traveling back was super easy, and yeah, just I think that first day where we did all of like just visiting the tourist attractions like the Colosseum, the Pantheon, and just seeing that view from the place that we found, that was the best day. It was so good, and the only thing that really could have made the holiday that much better would be the food options, because it was literally the same thing. Like for breakfast you had pastries, and then for lunch and dinner you had pizza or pasta, and that was it really. There wasn't that much variety, and by the end of it I was really tired of having pizza or pasta. You know what? It was a good time anyway. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this vlog. Let me know if you've ever been to Rome, if there's things that you would say, actually, maybe stay here next time and visit these places and stuff. Let me know. And if you would want to go, like, if you've never been, would you want to go to Rome? I do highly recommend, but I do think you only need a couple days. And maybe what I would have loved to have done is done like a time where we visited different parts of Italy. So did like maybe a night in Rome, so you have a nice day to have a look around, and then gone to somewhere else in Italy. I think that would have been amazing. But yeah, regardless, that was very good. If you've made it this far, then thank you so much. I think it's going to be another plain emoji because we did go away, and yeah, I hope you've enjoyed. So thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed, please do give it that thumbs up, subscribe, comment to let me know that you're here. It really does help the channel out. Social media links will be linked below, and I will of course catch you in the next one.